No puedes jugar boxeo es presentado por J&E, tu mejor opción para toda remodelación en Las Vegas, Nevada. 702-994-1924. Ponte tu Seller, los mejores guantes orgullosamente mexicanos, desde 1930 vistiendo los puños de los campeones y ahora disponibles para ti en sellersports.com. Ponte tu Seller. Michaela, you can imagine how proud I feel of you, of your career, because I know how difficult it was and it is now to be in the spot that you are now. I remember you like 17 years old, starting boxing, then 2016, and I have been following your career. So how's it feeling to be here? Because it's not about belts, it's about the name that you own. You know what I mean? Now your name in boxing is huge.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I realized after this fight, after this last decision against Baumgardner, that one fight, one loss, one fighter couldn't take away the career that I had built for myself. And that was a really great thing to realize. It really helped me because boxing would tell you otherwise. Boxing would tell you, oh, you lose your belts, oh, and your career is going downhill. It's so unforgiving, this sport. And that's why I was so upset after that fight. But I had to realize, like, I still have so much to be grateful for. I still have so much opportunity. I still have like the name that I've created for myself. So that was a great thing to remember. And yeah, now I just have to use it to really, really, really just make a place for women in the sport before I retire. Because I feel like there's still a lot of work to be done.
Of course, because you're really young. I mean, and this being said, without belts, I can tell that you look like hunger. Maybe if you let me use a Hollywood movie, you recover the eye of the tiger. I mean, you never lose it, but I can tell that you look like hunger than ever, but more mature as well.
Yeah, no, I am hungry. I'm in a new division now. I've moved on from that loss. I went through it for a while, but I feel good. I feel like back to my old self, and I feel the challenge again. I'm at 135, and whatever division I'm at, I'm gunning for the champion. Like that is where I'm at in my career right now. So 135, new weight class, new challenges, and I just got to put on a great show against Christina Lenardatu. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable at this weight. And I know someone like Lenardatu is tough. It's just going to bring out the best in me. So I just want to shine, look my absolute best, and get in line to fight the champ at 135, which right now is Katie Taylor.
Oh yeah. Before we go to the fight with Lenardatu, which by the way is a Dominican who lives in Greece, but later. But I believe you choose the correct path because in my opinion, the fight against Elisa Baumgardner, it was closer than the people, the cards. It was closer, and I truly believe that you deserve a rematch. But this being said, I believe that you choose the good path because now you are in 135, but at some point you need to fight against Alicia Baumgardner, right? Am I that you deserve? It's not that I want it, it's that you deserve that fight.
Well, I made it clear that I wanted that rematch, and she's made it clear that she didn't. And at this point, she has the belt. It's sort of on her. And I didn't have a rematch clause because I didn't plan on staying at 130. I knew I wanted to move up.
Yeah.
I didn't have that rematch clause, and maybe that was a mistake on my part. But you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And I didn't negotiate a rematch. But in hindsight, we shouldn't need a rematch clause. If you're as great as you say you are, back in the day, they didn't need rematch clauses. If the money was there and the fans wanted the fight and it was worthy of a rematch, they did the rematch. They put on a rematch. So, at this point, I can't sit around and wait. I can't beg for it. And so I had to move to 135 and continue on my path and continue to try and make big fights. She'll wake up one day and she'll go, oh shit, I should have done that rematch. Let me go try knocking on her door. But because she's a champion, the ball is sort of in her court, her and Eddie. So they have to realize they have to want it. They have to want it. And until then, I'm open for the negotiation always.
Definitely, definitely. Now with 17-1, 5 knockouts, you're gonna fight against a fighter which is very tough. I was watching the fights, preparing the interview. Christina Linder too is a 14-2. He was born in Dominican Republic. By the way, Dominican Republic have a lot of good fighters now, but she lives in Greece. You're gonna fight against her in United Kingdom. So, what can you tell about this fighter? Because it looks like he's very respectful, but it's dangerous because when you are gonna fight against people who is not talking or not doing trash talk, it's dangerous.
Yeah, me and Baumgardner did a lot of trash talk, but it was natural. It just, we didn't force that, right? We didn't plan it. We didn't force it. We didn't do it just to sell it was real, but it's not like that with every opponent. I don't have that beef with Leonardo too. So I'm not going to start it for no reason. It is what it is. I chose to fight her because she's a tough opponent, because she is a former world champion, because she's only lost to Delphine Pursoon and Katie Taylor. And I thought that she would be a great fight to put on for the fans. They can follow it. She beat Baumgardner. So it's fun for the fans. And then also I'm testing myself. I'm putting myself in front of a tough, challenging opponent so that I can earn a fight with the champion. I didn't want any easy fights. I never wanted that, especially where I am. I feel like I'm the best boxer I've ever been. I feel great. Coming off a loss or not, I feel great. I feel like I'm still the best. I still feel like I'm the best. So that's what I want to show.
Oh, definitely. And I totally understand that with Alicia Baumgardner, it's not about trash talking. It's about personal, because I believe both of you guys, they cross the line because you feel it, because it's authentic. It's something real. But in this fight, I want to ask you about a Mexican element that you have on your team, Manny Robles. I know he's in the Codman side, but this guy, by the way, is like my family. And how's the feeling to have Manny Robles on your team, and how important is him as a part of your team?
I love Manny. He's been part of my team since I turned pro. I think I had one other cut man one time because he was unavailable, and I hated my hands. I hated the way they were wrapped. It wasn't good. I was like, please don't get cut. So I trust Manny with everything. I think he's more than just a cut man. I mean, he's an amazing coach too. And he's helped me in the corner a lot. When Coach Al got sick with COVID and couldn't come to the fight, Manny was right there in my ear against, what's her name? African girl I fought. But yeah, I love him in the corner. He's very straight to the point. So yeah, I just feel that I have such a great team. Everyone works so well together. No one has an ego on my team. Everyone just flows, works well together, and they all just want the best for me. So Annie will be here in a couple of days.
I apologize for I need to compare this with soccer. The woman soccer team in USA, they won a huge stuff in order to receive good treatment, good payments. And do you believe that you can be the face of boxing for USA in order to receive more respect from press, from promoters, and money? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, you're not fighting because you don't have nothing to do. It's your job. You love to box, and I truly believe, and let me share this with you. I have been fighting for women's boxing, and I truly believe that you can be one of the most important faces in box ever for USA in order to receive the respect in every single sense.
Thank you. Yeah, that's always been really important to me. I've always said that. I may never reap the full benefits of my hard work. I may never get everything that I deserve in this sport, because women's boxing still has a long way to go, to close that pay gap, to get the respect. So I may never get it, but I at least want to leave a path for the next generation, some type of blueprint for them to follow. And although we've done a lot so far, I feel like there's still so much to be done. I know a couple, O'Shea Jones and Ginny Fuchs, both Olympians. O'Shea's an Olympic bronze medalist. They still can't get a promoter to sign them. They still can't get fights. And so if they can't get fights, made it all the way to the Olympic level, they can't get fights. What does that say about the next generation of women coming up? It's still too hard. And so I know we still have a lot of work to be done. And that's one of the reasons that I continue to push to put on big fights. No one's going to give women the respect if they go and fight little bullshit fights, no names, blah, blah, blah. I never want to do that. I need to put on big fights. I need to put my ass on the line, right? I need to take risks, put on huge fights, and get people to respect women's boxing and grow this market while I can before I can't fight anymore, you know? And that's really my goal, is to have more opportunity. There has to be more opportunity.
Oh yeah, because let me tell you this, with all my respect for men's fighters, you know, but 2022 it's not a men's world. It was a woman's world in boxing, to be honest.
Yeah. We killed it. We had a great year. And that's why I want to keep doing stuff like that. You know, that's why I'm disappointed in someone like Baumgardner, who's shutting down a rematch. Like, you think about what we could have done for this sport to put on a rematch right away. And just it's just so, I don't know. We'll see what type of champion she's going to be. I don't know. But I always want to be, champion or not, someone who puts on big fights and continues to just make noise and do big things, because that's the only way we're gonna close this gap and get the respect that we deserve. It's got to be big.
I totally agree. You have so many things to do in boxing. I was listening to you doing the broadcast in some fights, and you're doing great, by the way. So this being said, as an analyst, boxing analyst, of two great fights, 135, by the way, Devin Haney against Loma, and of course Gervonta against Ryan. Could you share with me your analysis, your previous analysis?
Yeah, so Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Let's start with that. Obviously I have a ton of respect for both of those fighters. Both, you know, Lomachenko has done some amazing things for the sport. Devin Haney, young and up and coming. Well, he's a champ now, but he's still young and probably has a lot of big fights ahead of him. But I think that Devin Haney is going to be able to really use that jab, which is his best weapon. I mean, he has such a jab. He, you know, I've had problems before with him where I'm like, okay, follow up, use that jab. Now throw some combinations behind it. I think he still needs to build that sort of punch count when it comes to combinations behind the jab. But that jab alone will beat a lot of guys. And I know that Lomachenko has great angles, but as long as Haney keeps that jab at the chest and doesn't try to hit and digs to the body, I think Devin Haney will come out on top. You know, we'll see.
Let me ask you this. Let me put you this way. My heart is with Ryan Garcia, but my wallet is with Gervonta. So you know what I mean, right? So what is your opinion?
Okay, so this is another really good fight that I like, and I like it because we don't necessarily know who's going to win off the bat. You know, I like fights like that. I like fights where you really have to think about it and analyze it, because it's not an easy answer. Tank is a big puncher, right? And I've seen some of his fights, he's even losing the first couple of rounds. He's not necessarily outboxing his opponents like a, you know, super high class boxer, but then he ends up catching them and knocking them out and finishing them. And that's what he's really, really, really good at. Ryan, on the other hand, has more on paper. You know, he has the height, he has the reach, he has the jab, he has the long punches, he has it all. He just can't get caught, because Gervonta's really, really good at catching you. And so I think Ryan's going to have a perfect, very, very disciplined fight. And the only thing I worry about him is his chin goes in the air. His chin goes in the air when he hooks. I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why nobody corrected that chin in the air yet. So I hope he fixes things like that. He's going to need a sharp jab, quick combinations, and he's going to have to do it for 12 rounds or 10. What is it? They're going 12,
Definitely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. No belt in between. I mean, no belt in both, but it's catch weight, let's say 136 something, you know?
Yeah.
But it's 12 rounds.
12 rounds. Okay, then yeah, it's gonna be a very disciplined fight. But we'll see. He has the tools to beat someone like Gervonta. It's just, can he go in there and be disciplined for 12 rounds?
Definitely. Let's dream a little. Could you imagine to be in the woman's side, one Canelo, one Pacquiao, one Mayweather? Because I truly believe, with all everything against you, guys, regarding woman boxing, but do you believe in a near future we're gonna have one name like Canelo, like Mayweather, like Pacquiao, like Chavez? Because I believe in 135 you can make Katie Taylor, you name it. I mean, you can tell everybody in this division is very complicated, but in a future, do you believe that we can have a huge night without men's? I mean, I don't have nothing against men's boxing, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I dream like one day we can have a huge event like only women's boxing.
That would be great. I mean, you know that the card me and Baumgardner fought on with Clarissa and Savannah, that was an all-female card, and it sold 20,000. It sold out the O2, 20,000 people and 2 million views on TV. So that just proves that we have the ability to do that. When you have rivalries and the best fight the best, you can have some really, really exciting cards, and the women can hold it on our own. We're proving that we can hold it on our own. So absolutely. I think that this generation of women's boxing, all of us, all of these names, all of these girls in the pound for pound list right now, we're going down as in history because we've changed women's boxing. We're changing boxing. We're changing the narrative of boxing, and we're showing what happens when the best fight the best, and you put your legacy first before money, because we don't have the privilege of taking one fight for $1 million, couple $1 million, and then just sitting back and coasting and taking easy fights. We don't have that privilege. And so it's forcing us to put our tail on the line and make big fights because we want that respect and we want that money. So we're showing how it's got to be done.
Yeah, you take me to this because Ernesto is saying this. In boxing, we are so stupid regarding men's. We are muy machos, but definitely we are so stupid because we don't understand how to respect women's. I can tell that great promoters, they are not taking care of women's boxing. So if you can ask something for the press or the promoters, what we need in order to give the support of women boxing? What is missing in order to help?
The talent pool is there now. I mean, you have to remember that it took longer because women weren't allowed to compete at the highest level in the amateurs. We weren't allowed to compete at the Olympics, right? So now that we are finally inducted into the Olympics in 2012, now we have a huge stable, like the depth. The depth goes so deep. Yeah. We have girls coming up. So the talent pool is there, and the promoters have to be ready because if they don't believe in it yet, they're going to have no choice. The women are coming, and there's some really, really talented, like this generation, the next generation of girls are going to wipe this generation out. Like they're going to be great because they've all started at a younger age. They've had more opportunity. So they're definitely coming. I don't think that we can be denied, but we can only do so much, right? We can only fight so hard. The promoters, the networks, they've got to get on board too. And I know it's tricky here in America. There's a lot of money on the line. But I feel like we can't be denied forever. They're coming. These little girls are coming. And I've seen them in the gym. You know, back when I first started, there was no women in the gym. Now you walk in, I see more girls than I see guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I think coaches too, you know, coaches would easily spot a young kid in the gym, 10 years old, say, whoa, he could be a world champion, take them under their wing, right? You know, say, meet me at this run. Okay, I'm gonna spar you. Okay, there's this tournament, because there's an incentive there. Like, I could turn this kid into a world champion. But there wasn't always incentive with women. They're like, oh, there's no money there. There's no money there. Well, coaches need to get on board at that too, because there's an incentive now with women. You know, you never want a coach who only cares about the money, but I understand everybody needs to pay their bills. But, you know, the women now, coaches, you know, find that young girl. Everyone's got to do their part and help build us up. So, yeah, but it'll happen.
Yeah. Amen. Finally, let's pretend that you are not part of this fight, this great fight. Michaela Mayer against Linder 2, April 15. How can you describe this fight? Let's pretend that you are not part of it as an analyst, because I truly believe it's a war.
Well, you got a strong, aggressive opponent in Leonardo too. She's going to come forward. She's going to be looking for the big right hooks, the big left hooks. Michaela Mayer, obviously, she's taller, the leaner boxer, longer boxer. I would expect for her to box and move, use her jab, use punches from a distance. But there's going to be a point when Leonardo is going to close that gap, and she's going to get it on the inside. And we've seen Michaela bang it out on the inside before, so we know she's got what it takes. But she's gonna have to keep those hands high and make sure to not get caught with a big punch from Leonardo too.
Okay, 2 favors finally. There you go. 2 finalists. Let me ask you this: when you have the chance to talk with Manny Robles, say "Arriba las Chivas," "Arriba las Chivas." She gonna love it. Is "Arriba las Chivas." Say from Ernesto Amador. And okay. Finally, let me close with this because you need to mark these words. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm 56 years old. I have been covering boxing like 30-something years ago. And I swear of God, because God is here always. I'm sorry, I'm a man of God. No, and you're going to be a role model. You can be one of the most important faces for boxing, for women's boxing. So be prepared. Because you can be, you're going to be for sure. I declare that the role model in boxing because you respect yourself. When it's time to trash talk, you do it. You defend the message finally for these little tiny girls that they believe that they can be champion of the world, but the world is saying no. This is a men's sport. Please send a message to these little tiny girls.
Well, first of all, I'm doing everything in my power to change that, to change those words that come out of men's mouths, because it's not just a man's sport anymore. There is a place for women in this sport, but whatever you do in life, someone's always going to tell you no. Someone's always going to try and put you down and tell you that you can't do it because maybe they couldn't, or maybe they don't have the determination to get it done. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You got to be willing to go through the ups and downs. You got to be willing to make hard decisions. But finding something you're passionate about is the hardest thing in the world. I have friends now who say, well, I was passionate about this when I was a kid, when I was that when I was a kid. I should have stuck with that. I should have stuck with that. If you love boxing and you feel like that's what you're meant to do, then chase it with everything that you have. Chase it with everything you have. Just be prepared. It's not going to be easy, but that's okay.
Well,
nothing is.
You know how much I appreciate your time. I respect you. And, I'm your fan. Sorry, it is supposed that I'm a journalist, but with you, it's very difficult not to be your fan.
I appreciate that. I can't wait to read your write-up. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And don't forget, Arriba las Chivas for Manny Robles. Arriba las Chivas.
Okay.
Chivas. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye-bye.